Hey, hi, how you doing, guys? It's me, Jonathan Oxenberg again. I have a situation that I need to explain to a lot of people. And this lady friend of mine, she happens to be where I came from. I was born in Colombia. I was born in September 11, 1969, and I was born in Medellin, and I was born in September 11. And actually, it happens coincidentally that the borough within Medellin, the municipality happens to be called La America. And to this day, I kind of wonder why was I born in a municipality called La America within Medellin, Colombia, on September 11th. So that sounds to me that I was destined for it. I don't know how that happened, but I was born on September 11th of that year, and subsequently, a couple of years after that, I became a U.S. citizen back in 1990. After being in the U.S. for so many years. But the reason that I'm going to make this video because I do know that I have relatives in Colombia. I have a lot of friends from Colombia. But ever since I came here back in the early 80s, I never been back, and and I don't want to go back. And no matter if there's $1 million right there waiting for me in Colombia, I will never go back. And the only reason that I want to share this with you, and I'm sure I can compare myself with other people, like let's say being born in communist Russia or being in a communist country. And yes, you do have some memories, but the memories that I have are at the familiar level. I mean, it's not nothing to do with politics. Politics might be a little bit um, yeah, maybe it will be a little bit mixed into that category, not going there. But I'll share this with you. I came from a broken family. We were poor. I mean, and situation is my biological father was nowhere to be found. Sometimes, in the time of need the most. But what really bothers me, what I really oh, and by the way, I grew up across the river from Pablo Escobar, one of the biggest killers of all time, in which a lot of people they do revere him as a hero. He was kind of playing Robin Hood, but it was because my grandfather being in the military, and he pretty much cleared my mind, when I was a kid, when this guy came into life, say no, no, it's not the way. I mean, the way you come here is the way. Sometimes the way you go. Okay, when you go to, but I'll tell you a little bit much more about Colombia if you don't know. What you hear about Colombia in the media or in the internet or social medias, it's not just it's not very accurate. Okay, I'll tell you something. The country is comprised of 45 million people. 45 million people. Um, they're pretty much from either 80% Spanish descent. There's also Lebanese descent, Syrian descent, Muslims from southern Spain that came migrating from persecution or whatever reasons. They went to Colombia, so pretty much 20% or 25% might be what you call a minority. Although I don't want to say that. Minority maybe just mixed race. There's also Afro Colombians there too. There's a whole state, what you can say that here, or maybe a province, comprised of 95% Afro Colombians of African descent. And the only reason that I'm bringing this up because there are so many things that has not been said about what was Colombia back in the 1800s and what was in the 1900s and what it is now in 2000, in the year 2000, in 21st century. um, let me have a drink because I'm dying to share this with you. Okay, I'm having a beer. Okay, so it's the weekend anyway. So um, uh, Colombia was comprised of what is now five different countries. Okay, Peru, I think Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia itself, and then Venezuela. It used to be called the Great Grand Colombian. So in order to let's jump some chapters about. Okay, there was independence war. Okay, against Spain, a lot of bloodshed. Was blah 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 blah. Too many people dead, okay, in order to have this so-called independence, but I'll tell you right now, there was a period with that, I want to bring this out, that there was a vice president who was of African descent, and I don't recall. Maybe I should have been more prepared in order to say this. Yeah, he was black, and he became sort of a de facto president back in the 1800s. So that would qualify him for being in the Americas, in the continent, in the new, yeah, the first uh, black president, in the Americas, before Barack Obama, a couple, you know, century after that, or whatever you want to call it. And the only reason that I'm sharing this with you is because in Colombia, people think they're doing fine when they're not. Even though, I mean, we are in modern times, we have all the tools for communication. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have blah blah blah. So many things that kind of tell them that they're pretty much um, not behind, but the current. I'll tell you the whole story. The only reason that I don't go back to Colombia because, to be honest with you, people are they live in a cocoon there, and people that come here, they're still living in the past. They're still living in that cocoon. Okay, um, I do believe in order to become even, I mean, when you become president, if you want to become president of the country of Colombia, you will have to come from a rich family because the rich family they have paid off so many people. They have I mean, the current president, Juan Manuel Santos. Okay, I like the guy. I mean, he's a very intelligent guy, but he comes from a rich family. They used to own a string of newspapers called El Spectator or something, whatever. They sold half of it for several millions of dollars, and they make the transaction in the Caribbean country, in Aruba or I don't know where else, on which they don't have to pay taxes. So this is one of the motives that I don't go there because the country has been run by corrupt people. There's not going to be any president that is going to preside in a country that has oil, coffee, and a lot of natural resources. The only and it's a very divided country because I was and as I tell you, I was born in Medellin, and the capital, the federal district or the special district is Bogota. I don't like people from Bogota. They're such a fucking idiots. They have a cocoon. They live a cocoon on their own. In terms in Medellin, we're much more. We don't have a cocoon, but we don't live in a cocoon. I wasn't born in a cocoon, and again, born in September 11, 1969, in the barrio La America is kind of what propels me to be very proud. But situation is, there's a lot of diversity in Medellin in terms of people that migrated there. I mean, from other countries, but so many cultures. But in Bogota, they want to get a grip of everything they can get. If it's not money, if it's not politics, okay, you're dead to me. That's how they said it. And that's why there are other people that are very divided from Bogota as much as we are from Medellin. I mean, like from people from Cali. Cali people are, first of all, it's a very hot weather territory. No air conditioning. Everybody shorts off or whatever that is. But they don't take a shower there. I heard some stories. Yeah, they don't take a shower. I don't know. That's what I heard. So, and then there are other communities like when on my way to Ecuador, there's Nariño, Pasto, which is the most southern state or province of Colombia before you head down to Ecuador. When I was there, when I was heading there towards Galapagos Island, in a vacation back in the very late 1970s or early 90s, I just don't recollect, the people I got to see for the first time, indigenous people of Indian descent, like people like Aboriginal, what you call in Australia Aboriginals, and again, they don't like people from Bogota because how come in Bogota they got these tall buildings and then you go to Pasto, that city, and you wouldn't. I don't recall ever even seeing a three-story building more than that, higher than that. So and then I started thinking, why so people in Colombia are so unequal. I mean, it's not about money; it's about infrastructure. And the roads are terrible. I mean, I don't know. This Juan Manuel Santos. He goes in those trips to Europe, comes to the U.S. to seek investment. And why would you want to invest in a country on which, I mean, you don't have roads? You don't have highways. To promote trade. And then I start thinking, what a fucking divided country I was born in. Why was I born here? Why? And then I start thinking, maybe the way of reasoning or the way I should think is everybody. I mean, everybody's equal, no matter you Chinese, Japanese, or whatever it is. But this country is so fucking divided. I don't really think Colombia is going to change, and as long as these socio-economical I mean, divides are there, because I mean, I don't want to explain myself if I go to Bogota, and someone is going to say, okay, you don't have an accent, you sound Puerto Rican to me, and then I'm going to say, well, this is my first time here. Let's say if I go there in 2021, and I said to to whoever in Bogota, say, okay, I haven't been here. I've been living in the United States since the early 80s, and this is my first time. And I know that that person from Bogota is going to challenge me. Oh, how come you come here? You haven't come here. You don't know what you're missing. And I'm going to say, fucking asshole from Bogota, you have not changed every single thing for the other people that are so divided from you. That's why I don't come. People from Bogota are fucking idiots. They are. I don't like them. When I was in Medellin, living next to, I had this neighbor guy. They were from Bogota. The kids, they thought they had it all because they're from fucking Bogota. They have nothing. If you divide a country, you have no diversity. You have. I mean, I mean, I don't know how you can achieve a government in Colombia. But let's say, okay, if you have so many people, divided people in Medellin, Cali, and Pasto, and some other places, so in Bogota, when it comes voting for a president, maybe someone is rigging the votes, because first of all, we're not going to vote for a guy born in Bogota rich, because to be honest, I'm not saying that you crook if you're from Bogota, I mean rich, but there has been a seniority, or there has been some type of a chronological that if you're born in Bogota, you will become president. There's something wrong with that. When in fact, yeah, we have had people. We had a president from Medellin, and then there has been other presidents from other country, from other parts of the country, but always have to be from Bogota. Caramba! I mean, the power is right there. So I just want to share this with you because, and again, I don't want to go back to Colombia unless there's a change in the social issues there. That I mean, let me explain this to you. I mean, if you don't deposit over $500, you cannot get a checking account. So that's kind of ridiculous here in the U.S. I mean, just open an account. They give it. I mean, so there is a banking divide there, stuff like that. Like for example, if you want to get a job in a big corporation, and I'll share this with you. I mean, my father's side, I have uncles, they're CEOs and all that, but I have to reveal this to you that the children, they work in those corporations. Some of them, lawyers and all that. Okay, I can respect that. We all need a job, but the situation is, you have to have a connection once you get out of university in Colombia, a connection, either family or someone you really trust, because the job market has to be based on connections. Not only that, I mean, even if you are to be the unknown applying for a job, let's say in a bank, okay, you have your diploma, you even went to the United States to get education. Let's say you went to Harvard, you went to Miami University or whatever. It's still, and when you, this is going to be very funny. When you file an application for a job, there is a spot in the application at the upper left level. Is a there's a box, there's a square. You have to include, to this day they're doing that, your photo. And I'll tell you why they do it. Your photo has to be in color. You have to submit your photo with the application. Yeah, yes. No, not application, your resume. I mean, you don't find an application. I'll correct that. You will do your resume, but you must submit your photo. And I'll tell you why I'm so against this thing, and I've been against it. My mom did it, and I know that a lot of family members have had to go through this process, on which I wouldn't call it unfair, illegal, but it just kind of pisses me off. If I were to be, let's say, in Colombia, and I wouldn't do that, but the regular supervisor of a business, or general manager, will take will take 5 resumes in one day for a position of sales or clerical, could be accounting or whatever. So that person is going to focus, out of those 5 resumes, the pretty picture, the woman, and then there will be that will be his number one choice. Nice girl, maybe in his mid-20s. But and then the other 2 or 3 and 4 will be, maybe there was a woman of Indian descent, indigenous descent, because of the color of the skin. She may have, or she has, the same qualifications, educational, like the first number one that the guy is looking at it. And then there will be maybe one looking, be a male looking like me. I do have a lot of makes on me, and you can judge me. You can, I mean, I'm not pretty. I'm just a normal guy. But he said, hey, that guy is not gonna make it here. Then there will be maybe people with darker skin, and then there will be someone of African descent. So the manager will go to number one, because that's the one that he wants. So that's how we have so much unemployment, because it is not only based on race, it's much more of a social issue, on which we need to sell. We need to put this individual that looks so nice, that blah 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 blah, and that's in the same process. Family members have go through, and guess what? They never got that job. So that's one of the things that I don't want to go back to Colombia. One other thing is about security, safety, public safety. The cops, they don't engage the criminal. They and I'll tell you this, and my grandfather and my uncle would be very disappointed, because they were part of members of the National Police Force, which I'm very proud. And my grandfather, my mom's father, he used to be honor guard for one of the presidents in Colombia back in the 40s or whatever. But I have to say that they don't want to engage criminals. Listen, if you're a cop anywhere in the world, you could be a cop in Russia, from the United States, even the Philippines, because they're having some issues. The public, there's having some issue, because this president, he wants to kill all the drug addicts, and which I cannot agree with that, actually, but it would be too far. But situation is, in Colombia, they don't shoot. They are afraid to shoot the cops, the criminals. No. I have the story. I mean, I don't know why. And then I was told, because the cop in Colombia, he gets paid $300 a month. So it kind of I start wondering, okay, you train as a cop, as a police officer, and you get paid $300 a month. And then the guy who told me this in Fort Lauderdale, that the cops get paid $300, which, I mean, I'm still kind of in denial. What police force will, I mean, not only will pay you $300 a month, But in case of a death, or if you are to engage a criminal, in a shootout, which I wouldn't mind because my life is, I don't even care. But for what I heard, if a cop in Colombia gets killed, the family will get $1,200 life policy, and the funeral will be paid off. Wow! So this is coming from Bogota. This wouldn't be coming from anywhere from Cali, from Pasto, from Cartagena. I mean, the city leaders would like to put some pride. I mean, in protecting their own citizens, but not by paying them fucking $300 a month to be a cop, to have a weapon. And then if you get killed, you get nothing. I mean, your family get $1,200, and that's it. So your life as a cop in Colombia is $1,200. Your life. And that's why I just don't want to go there, because I want to wear my watch. I have a very nice watch, which I'm not gonna, wear. I want to look good. I'm an educated person, but for me to enter a community or society on which a cop is paid $300 a month, forget it. I think that's an insult to a lot of cops that have died in the line of duty in Colombia. I'll tell you this: why? Why? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And also the criminality level, in juveniles in Colombia is just unpunishable, because they have these archaic laws on which, let's say if I'm a teenager, or let's say I do in one night, I'm gonna kill, I'll kill and I'll rape maybe a family, and then because I got so much drugs on me, I got, I mean, maybe crack or whatever, or so anyway, and then I get arrested, and this is what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna be arrested, and then I will go before a magistrate. But in Colombia, no matter how heinous crime you commit, you will, if I'm under 18, you will not be charged as an adult, like in the United States or in some other countries they do have laws that they are able to see what would be the protocol, how to treat this person that committed a heinous crime. The teenager before 18, if he commits a crime, like killing or whatever, he would always going to be tried as a teenager. I mean, he could be waiting for the trial past 18. The same charges as a teenager are going to stick, because it's supposedly that Colombia is signed an agreement with other countries on which is about judging or trying teenagers with teenage law. It's something that came out of Geneva, or the Geneva Convention, So that's how stupid that. I'm dry for a drink. Cannot wait to finish, because I'm angry, and I just want to voice out why I don't go there, because this is a country that is very much behind, 50 years behind. And I'll tell you why. They had this FARC, the guerrillas. Okay, they did so much damage. I mean, they signed a peace agreement, but hello, there's they may they kidnap people. Good people disappear. I mean, farmers, peasants. They have a little bit of land, and throughout these years, I mean, these people, they just took their land, and they told them, even if you admit that you own this land, we're going to shoot your family. So leave, have an amnesia, you own this piece of land, and that's it. That's how they did it. Because I saw that on YouTube, So that would mean that they planned this so they can, the guerrilla FARC, they can still own property stolen. But again, they will treat the death threat to that family. Say, if you were to come to reclaim this land, no matter what kind of a political panorama is now in the future or whatever, no, you're going to have to decide right now. So, and I have to say that I have been indirectly affected by this, because I heard some rumors within my in my family side that they kind of did something, you know. So that's why this country is so. It's going to be ages before this country updates its laws. Maybe they're going to have to rewrite the constitution. I don't know. I'm not fan of rewriting constitutions. I mean, I live here in the United States of America. This constitution has not changed, and I like it, and I love it, and I think it's never going to happen, despite of the various tragedies that this country has. Um, has suffered. 8 days ago. We had this shooting in Las Vegas, and my heart goes to them. But situation is what is going on in Colombia. Nothing changes. You know, they have this peace agreement with the FARC. Well, nobody cares. You know, and that's it. So what I'm trying to say is that, and again, I'm going to place this on YouTube and Facebook, and please don't ask me this question. I refuse to go back to Colombia unless there's a 180 turn degree change. A lot of people and I know people from Russia, they, even though there's a democratic system there, which is kind of funny. I don't know. I like that Vladimir Putin, but people they don't want to go back. That's the way I feel. If you ask for someone that went to Auschwitz, Poland, to the Nazi chambers, people were killed. That's the way I feel. If I got out of that oven to be, that's the way I feel about myself. It's, it's just a very corrupt country. In order to be someone important, you have to have money. It doesn't matter to them, to Bogota, if you have a fucking diploma from Yale University, Northwestern University, but no, if you have that diploma and you come from a poor family, fuck you, we're not gonna deal with you. that's why I don't want to go back there, because there's no change. It's a calamity getting a job there. If I have a diploma coming from a regular family from Colombia, looking for an IT job, or no, it has to be a connection, family connection or friend connection. FF, fuck you, fuck Bogota. I'm done with Bogota. I'm glad maybe because we had this little shame that Pablo Escobar was born in Medellin and I was born in Medellin, across the road from him. Maybe I regret it, but now they say fuck Bogota. I'm done with Bogota. I think Bogota should have an earthquake, and then the capital of Colombia should be either Santa Marta, Cartagena, or Cali, or whoever's whatever community is well prepared to head a country. We have oil, we have coffee, we have fruits, cocoa, but the roads are terrible. So bye bye. I'm done with this.